peace be unto you all. I hope you're all having a great week and you had a lovely weekend since the last time we have seen you, and you clearly had enough time to digest the majesty of what we shared with you last week, Thursday. I'm hoping that you've got yourself a nice, comfortable seat. You've got your refreshments. Now, as Sister Sylvina shared with you, last week we were honored to host our honorable priest and brother, Kailash, who is based in St. Lucia and is an internationally renowned healer, an international humanitarian, an international lover for the concern of us as a people. And when I first heard my brother's voice, he mentioned the importance of St. Lucia being a center for healing for us as a people. And since we have gone and embarked upon this mission of reparation, repatriation, and restoration, the restoration aspect of those 3 R's are central to what we are about and what we have to focus on as a people. Because if we are to enjoy the blessings of God and really to be the new rulers in waiting, then we are going to have to heal ourselves from living in a strange land amongst strange people for the last 450 plus years. We have to be made fit for leadership. We have to be made fit for rulership. And many of us like the words of the future is ours. You know, we are the original people, and all the good information that comes with being a Black man and a Black woman. The history is beautiful. The future looks bright, but the present needs to be addressed. And the present is we all need a healing. So in looking at a healing, God Almighty guided me, I believe, to meet the Honorable Priest Kailash. And with him not being one to just maintain the Europeans' rule or the Europeans' institutions, but just putting a Black face on it, he turned the whole healing process on his head. And when I was blessed to visit with him at Mount Kailash and see with my own eyes, the fact that my brother is growing his own herbs, he processes his own medicine for the healing pleasure of us as a people. And knowing that he is controlling this process from start to finish. And as a scientist, this really warmed my heart. From the day I met him, all I ate was food from his restaurant in Castries in St. Lucia. And I look forward to going back, because now I know where I can eat, not my vegan food, but my Ital food. Okay, so be that as it may, it's with tremendous pleasure, and it's a tremendous honor to have our brother visit back with us for a second week. And it's ironic, just before I bring on the Honorable Priest, it's no accident that on Sunday, when I opened up the Sunday Times newspaper, that I found articles that really cemented and concretized the importance for us to have our own independent hospitals and independent systems of healing. I opened my Sunday Times, and this was an article that I was reading about Sajid Javid orders racial bias review after COVID deaths. And it came to light, dear family, that when you go to the hospital and they put this fingertip oximeter on your finger, that these fingertip oximeters are designed for Caucasian fingers. They're not designed for a black finger or a brown finger or even a yellow finger. So the readings that have been given or were given were wrong where our people are concerned. And as you can see where it highlights, 12% of Black patients who had been given a safe reading by the oximeters were actually in the dangerous range. And as you know, when it came to COVID-19, the first 10 doctors that died in the United Kingdom, 9 of them were of color. 9 of them were either Caribbean and from Bangladeshi and Pakistani origin. So the mere fact that equipment that is used by the NHS is actually not designed to properly read our condition is a sign that we need a total overhaul of the medical system. So I'm not going to run through these slides. I'll do it at another time, but I just wanted to bring these basic things to your understanding. And Savage Javid, being a man of color, it is incumbent upon him now to overhaul the entire NHS. And a part of that article that you can go back in the archive and pull up for yourself, it reads, and I quote, "The way the health system is set up, both in Britain's NHS and across the global medical sector, is tilted against those who do not happen to be white." This is in the Sunday Times newspaper of last week. So go back into your archive, go and get that article and read it through, and you will be devastated as to what these people are actually admitting to. They're admitting to the fact that when clinical trials take place, clinical trials are predicated upon Caucasian people being the ones who are clinically examined, and the medication that is designed is based upon what benefits or what helps Caucasian people. So when you and I take the very same medication, it doesn't have no effect on us. And Honorable Priest mentioned this last week, Thursday, and it's no accident that in a respected paper such as the Sunday Times or the London Times would actually give a full spread that was ordained, and also it was written in conjunction with the Secretary of Health, Savage Javid. So what more do we need to hear? What more do we need to know to appreciate that the health systems in England, in America, and throughout the West, because the finger meter that I put up on the board is actually designed in America and sold globally for the benefit of other than you and me. So without any further delay, I want to bring to you our Honorable Priest, Kailash, who will bless us again with his wonderful presence. So dear family, please take your phones off mute and your devices and bring our brother forward with a real well-deserved show of love and appreciation in whatever manner you so choose to express yourself. So Honorable Priest, the throne is yours.
Give thanks, Honorable.
Greetings, brother.
Greetings, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Greetings, brother.
Give thanks.
Welcome, brother again. Welcome.
Give thanks, Honorable.
Peace and blessing, peace and blessing.
Give thanks. Well, give thanks for the throne this time around, not the floor. Definitely give thanks for the correction. I mean, give thanks for the moment, as today we really supposed to be going through the realms of a walkthrough Mon Kailash Rejuvenation Center, which basically was a forest, of wild trees, a wilderness, of wild trees and insects and wild animals, before we actually came into that space, So give thanks for having us today. Give thanks for sharing your space with us, and give thanks for welcoming us into your sacred and divine spaces also. So, Honorable Brother Abdul Hakim, I don't know how you want me to start off. You know, I am your, we're not guessing, I'm not your guest, really. I am your brother here.
You're our best.
So tell me, you know, right now I am seated is basically in front. Let me just give you another view of exactly where we are, because here, this is the view. My forward view is like this is like mountain, you know. What you see in right in front. This is a papaya tree. You know, so this papaya tree is not a tree we even actually planted. You know, right here is like a room for some of our clients that when they come in, our rooms are basically like these organic spaces. So when we talk about the wellness spot whereby you, even the colors of our ceilings and everything, try to keep the tone of nature, not very synthetic. You know, so out of that room, when somebody comes out on a natural wood floor, these floors are basically made from wood that was actually chopped down in our building process to have a minimal impact on the carbon footprint. So this pawpaw plant here was just, you know, grown out of probably the client was eating some pawpaw and they threw the seed at the front and it grow, you know. And what we must understand really is that even that food called the papaya, if I just scrape a little part of the skin, you know, you'll see a latex actually just coming out. Now that latex is basically what we refer to as papain, which is what we call a proteolytic enzyme. And that enzyme is what our ancestors actually use as what we call a meat tenderizer. So because we don't really eat flesh, when we actually studied medicine, you know, we actually found out that, like for instance, like fibroids is basically consistent of what we call fibrinogen, you know, or fibrin, which is basically a protein. And in our studies, we were able to understand that by the consumption of papaya and also pineapples, which contain another proteolytic enzyme called bromelade, that you could literally just help that fibroid to basically allow your immune system to penetrate through the fibroids and actually destroy the fibroid. So it is very important that we fully understand the fullness of what wellness is. So right here, if this is our building that we're just in the process of building, because this is the bottom floor, this is the middle floor is processing area, and then the top floor would be our school, and the top here is about a 1 to 4 level building. And this is going to be where we're going to be welcoming people to actually learn about the herbs. So all what you see in front of you here is basically herbs that were actually planted very deliberately, very, very, very deliberately. So this is what people refer to as the blue vervine plant. You know, so the blue vervine, which is one of the most effective herbs when it comes to the boost up of your iron, also contains lots of zinc, selenium, help to fortify the prostate of the man. And even during COVID, this herb here was the herb that they used in Madagascar called the asthma plant, where they actually created this medication to actually help to combat COVID in Madagascar. So all these herbs here are herbs that literally grows wild. So when they say that money grows on tree, money do grow on tree. You know, it is because we don't really acknowledge that, and we don't have that relationship with our plants. So my brother, it's been about 6 years that I'm in the mountain. This coconut tree, I actually planted this coconut tree with my hands, you know, let's say about 4 years ago, you know, and already, you see that?
Yes.
You know, so this is jelly coconut. So I could stand up and just reach and just pick a coconut, you know? So many of the trees that we see around the place are trees that we actually planted with our own hands. So if you look up here, this is the road coming down to the center, and all these coconut trees were actually planted with our hands and the hands of some of our workers. And I'm just going to give you a look into our processing area, which is where the majority of our herbs are actually processed. So this here is the processing area, as we are in a very sterile environment, space whereby you know, actually do ours right here. And here in the mountain, what we do specifically is that we are combining the whole aspect of the ancient ways of healing with the sciences that we have actually learned out of medical school. So I'm just going to be taking you on a walk down to some of the cottages. But while we're walking, I'll just highlight some very specific plants to you. Because we know that even in the United Kingdom and America on the whole, prostatic problem is one of the key issues for our men. And this herb here is what you call the Biden spilosa, what you call the Spanish needle, right? And this is one of the most potent herbs for respiratory, and also it's an antiviral, and also it is excellent for the urinary system. So when it is that you would say, well, your prostate is inflamed, what would result is that you would have what you refer to as a high PSA. So when you go to the doctor, and the doctor say, well, your PSA is high, you know, and they stick their fingers in your anus, you know, which they don't really have to do, you know. The whole system of medicine, you know, when I was at all these coconut trees here is trees that actually grow. We planted with our hands. We found none of these trees here. That here is a bread nut tree. You know, we planted that also. All these trees here, that's the banana tree. You know, many of us never saw a banana plant by ourselves. You know, we probably get at Sainsbury's or Tesco's or someplace, you know, but this is the real banana plant. That's the tree of the banana. That's the fruit of the banana when it's very young. So this here is basically what would grow into this yellow banana that you'd actually be eating from the supermarket. And growing up, we actually use the entirety of the plant. Even the back of the, see this here? The back of that plant here has very potent antibiotic properties. So when it is that you get cut, you could utilize that to immediately stop your bleeding and also prevent infection. So as I was saying, when you go to the doctor and they say, well, okay, your PSA levels are high, it is basically what they're saying is as prostatic or prostate-specific antibodies. So all it means that there is an inflammatory process that is going within your prostate. And because there is an inflammatory process, what is happening is that your immune system is releasing particular antibodies to actually help to combat that. Now, that could be as a result of several things. It could be just because probably you had sexual intercourse, probably, you know, you were riding a bicycle and you had some stress upon the prostate, probably because you constipated, probably you were exposed to some environmental intoxicant, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have what you call prostate cancer. And then, you know how the invasive modality of Western medicine, then they would make you kneel down and snoop, and then they shove their fingers up your anus, you know, just because they like it, you know. Because even that I'm telling you, I'm telling you from first-hand experience. I was among them. I went to 3 separate medical schools. This is a bitter orange tree. That's the wild. I found this tree in the forest, right? And this tree here is like the authentic original orange tree. So this bears all year round, but it is not that tree here. It's not a sweet orange. That's why they call it the bitter orange. It's a bit sour, you know, but it's a very potent source of what we refer to as your vitamin C's. And here is what you call a cocoa. That's a cocoa pod. So if it is that you're looking for chocolate, the chocolate actually comes from that fruit here. Your real cocoa pod, it contains serotonin, tryptophan, very good. That's why cocoa is addictive. Or chocolate makes you feel good, you know? So definitely, when it is that you go and you visit these doctors and they say, well, your prostate is high, your PSA is high. And then immediately they want to go invasive. They want to stick in the finger and then they want to do probably an anal ultrasound, where they push something looking like a penis into your anus just to take photographs. And remember, these things are very deliberate, you know, because that is their system of wellness. That's a system that they have actually created, right? And then now probably they go in and cut a little piece just so they could look at it underneath a microscope to see whether you have cancer, whatever that they say. But if it is that you are having particular difficulties, and as a man, you begin by probably having, let's say, frequency of urination. So you get up in the night 5 times to urinate. You don't wait until it gets too late. Immediately you start to utilize the Spanish needle, because growing up, you learn these things that when it is that you have urinary tract infections or you have problems with your prostate, there are prophylactic measures you could actually take, what you call primary health care, things that you could naturally do to help to prevent yourself from getting in a state whereby you have to end up having your testicles. You know, they cut off the testicles if you have an enlarged prostate. They say to reduce the amount of testosterone just so it will avoid the growth or the swelling of the prostate, or they seed your prostate. So it is very important that we are in an environment whereby we could fully embrace the whole realms of nature. So I was speaking to you on the previous Thursday about how we created our springs. So this here is some of the springs that you could see here, you know, so that's one of our therapy areas. And if you just look carefully over here, this water is drinking water. It's not like the Thames. So here basically is like fresh drinking water, you know. So we actually build that. This one I built it with my own hands, and that is why it's I have a relationship with whatever I do here, because I built this, put stone by stone with my own hands to actually trap that water coming from that space here, you know, and have other set of springs down on that side where our people that actually come and spend time with us could bathe and sit and get nourished in that particular space here. So this other one here is one that we built, but this one here is just to collect underground water. So if you check carefully, you'd see that you have an underground water. That water here is crystal clear because it is underground water, because there is water everywhere. There is no shortage of water up in the mountain. And believe me, when I came here, it was not like that at all. It was not like what you see at all. It's after 6 years of continual growth and continual development that we are at the point that we are in right here. So down at the bottom here is where we have most of our cottages. So right in front of you here is the pyramid structure, which actually just houses 2 people, you know. So this one here, then we have another cottage here, cottage Aiteru, you know, and Atabaira, and that side here, and this here is our kitchen. Now the concept of a kitchen space is completely different than you would find in a kitchen. So apart from having the modern kind of kitchen, what we have done is that we utilize what our ancestors utilized all along, which is basically the wood and the coal ovens. So in the kitchen, you would see, well, you have that oven here where we actually do our baking, and this here is a fireplace whereby we utilize our wood, and you still have your common lay oven space. And this is where our clients would come and sit down, and normally what we offer at our center is an opportunity for when it is that, even the color of our staff uniform is black over white. You know that, right? You know black over white is significant.
Right.
Because in any hotel that you go to, what's the color of the uniform?
Generally white.
White over black. Blessed of my Lord. Yeah, forgive thanks. So it's always white over black, man. You know, so it is very important that we shift the script. You know, we change everything around. So here we have another two other cottages at the downstairs, and we have one more cottage to the top. And over here is one of our just areas for meditation, and we have a garden on that side here. I'll just show you the garden a bit and show you some other things before we have a seat and have some discussion. This is the elderberry plant. Right here, that's the elderberry plant. That's one of the richest sources of vitamin C. That's excellent for persistent coughs, even in COVID time. For those of you who probably have never seen what you call an eggplant, the eggplant, the plant that the eggplant comes from, that's an eggplant right here. You have lots of herbs growing on that side, different types of bananas, the burro banana, the plantain, and all these things over here. Some salad beans, lettuce. You see our compost. We don't only just eat the sea moss, we also utilize the sea moss as a compost and the seaweed. You know, so we are actually putting back within the soil. So you have broccoli, you have tarragon, you have seasoning pepper, you have your marigold flowers. So the space that we have actually created, even across that side here, this is a river that we are actually rebuilding the river. You know, so we are taking out all the rubbish. We are piling back up the stones.
Yes.
So we just diverted the water a bit. So our brother here, that's one of our staff here, you know, so what we're doing is basically, so you are seeing part of the process, you know, so all this was, you know, things that actually fell into the river because of debris and what people had done over the years. So removing that, and then we are actually building up the base of the spring back with some proper stones. So when you come, Brother Abdul Hakim, with your people, you know, and you walk up that path here, you know, all you'll be seeing is basically crystal clear waters, you know. So all these waters there, up that side here, there is no one living up there. So all you have up there principally is just rainforest. So this is a view, another view, because I was all the way at the top here a while ago. You know, and now I am down to the riverside. So we clean up this side and we are building up. So sometimes when people come and they see the final product, right, they just say it's beautiful, but they do not really have that full understanding of the process that it actually takes to develop a place like we have up in the mountains. So all here is just like running water, abundance of fresh water. And it was raining earlier on, so you could see it's a bit dark, but all this is pure drinking water, Honorable. So we have plenty of different herbs, all type of herbs growing here, from your peppermint, yeah, you know, to it's a ginger plant, turmeric plant, patchouli plant. That's what they call the fitweed for seizures. You know, that's the stone crusher. Here for if you have what you refer to as kidney stones. This is a guarantee. You don't need to have any surgery to remove a kidney stone. You could use this. It's called Shankar Piedra stone crusher. That's excellent for kidney stone removal. You have this basil here. You know, you have what you call a spearmint, the spearmint plant. What people normally would chew the chewing gum for. If I take out a piece here, you know, if we had the technology where you could have smelled it, you know, you'd have smelled it just like your little spearmint chewing gum. You know, smell beautiful. You know, so what we have done here is basically taking a time out just to help nature to come forward into its fullness. You know, because it is also our responsibility to add value to creation, not to come as parasites or mosquitoes and just suck out of nature and leave it like, you know, weaker than it is when we came. So on this aspect of the farm, we have more farming done on this aspect, and we have all manners of fruit trees actually that grows on this side, beloved. Give thanks, Honorable.
Give thanks, give thanks. Brothers and sisters, show your appreciation for a grand tour
Absolutely
Thank you, brother.
beautiful. Awesome.
Edward,
Brilliant, man, brilliant.
beautiful,
Honestly.
beautiful.
Very
Yeah, thank you,
good.
Kim.
So,
Yes.
Man,
awesome.
enlightenment higher.
Thank you.
True,
I'm
true.
coming home.
Give thanks. Yeah, give thanks. And one of the things that we must highlight is that, you know, even if I got that property, let's say about 7 years ago, we've been living here for 6 years. So everything that you see here have been done within 6 years, and that is without funding from no banking institution. You know, this is just, you know, putting our earnings, reinvesting our earnings back into the property. You know, so I am saying that it's easier for you because what you have a module to actually look at. You know, it's like God taking Moses onto the top of the mountain and show him the possibilities. You know, when you read the Bible and they say, well, the angel of the Lord came and he showed them, you know, how strong and mighty that they were and how many angels stood by the side. You know, so at least you have a glimpse into your possibilities, and a glimpse into your possibilities allow you to move forward with even more confidence. So what we have done here is not just for ourselves. You know, we have done it for you also to show you that, yes, it is possible. And we don't have to be dependent on someone to actually decide how our wellness system is supposed to be. And that is why if it is that you are a biochemist, you are a physicist, you are a medical doctor, you are a surgeon, you know, you are a dentist, you know, a dental surgeon, it doesn't mean that your craft that you have learned out of the white world, you have to make it completely useless. No, what it means is that you have to see how is it that you could actually modify it, you know, create it into a way by recreate it into a way by it could be beneficial for you. So as the Honorable Brother Abdul Hakim was saying in the beginning about the article that he actually read, that's the truth, that's facts. You know, because as we said previously last round, the majority, 99.9% of all the drugs that are sold in the drugstores, you know, are not made with us in mind. Yet still, I am sure that even on this platform that we are here, that we have a lot of highly intelligent beings that given the opportunity that they could sit down and even take some of the plants that I have shown and do some proper extractions that could lead for the alleviation of many of the disease conditions that we have. I am a scientist, but I have been forced to become an economist. I have been forced to become an architect. I have been forced to become a builder. You know, I have been forced to become several things just because many of my brothers and sisters with these skills have not actually stepped up, that I myself could just sit down with my chalice in my hand and hold a meditation in my lab and begin to extract things and create, you know, elixirs that could actually destroy all disease and sickness. So I see personally, I do see a bright future ahead. And from the time that I've met Brother Akeem, you know, from I think it's only about 21 days, you know, beloved.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
since we met, you know, and I mean, our strides have been phenomenal. So there is a great momentum. This gives me hope of a brighter future for us as a people medically. And when I came into London previously, man, it used to be so sad. The amount, I mean, no sad is seasonal. What do you call it again? That's seasonal something disorder whereby everybody,
seasonal affective disorder.
Disorder, yeah, where everybody is schizophrenic and bipolar and depressed and anxious and all these different things. I mean, Britain was created for that, just to have you in a depressed state. So, as I said previously, if you are in London and you don't have pounds and you don't have a solid education that you could use to re-inject into the prosperity of your own, you know, you're wasting your time.
Right.
You know, so better you come into a space like St. Lucia, you know, and help us to build a generational wealth that our children and our children could actually come and benefit from. So I again invite you and implore you, you know, to come into our space and share with us.
Absolutely. And Honorable Priest, you know, earlier this year, I said on this platform that last year was my last winter here in the United Kingdom. And I was insistent that I would come over and spend the last few months of the year into the early part of 2022 in the Caribbean. Now, I found myself back here after spending 9 days in St. Lucia. And when I felt that breeze hit me a couple of days ago, because it seems as if we've entered into proper winter now here in the UK. And I felt the debilitating energy just come over me where I couldn't even find the energy to go to the gym and work out. And I work out every day to keep my spirit up, and I would swim, whatever. But I felt almost paralyzed, my dear brother. And St. Lucia was strong on my mind a couple of days ago. And you said something, well, many things last week, but one of the things that you did mention that I wanted to expound upon today is the retreats that you conduct at Mount Kailash and throughout St. Lucia. And the more we talk and the more I listen to you, and as I said, from the first time I heard you when Brother Chronix brought you on, was you mentioned the Caribbean, and you typified St. Lucia as being like a healing Mecca, pretty much for us as a people. And as I speak more about, and as we speak more about repatriation and restoration, and the Caribbean being so filled with all of the herbs and the spices that we need to really fully rejuvenate our bodies, please speak to us about St. Lucia and the Caribbean being a Mecca for healing for those of us who have lived in the West, and really for those throughout the world by extension.
Give thanks again, beloved, for having me, and give thanks for all the brothers and sisters who are with us, you know, on this live stream. Give thanks as I'm seeing Brother Jeffrey Mohammed. I'm just gonna call out some names that I'm seeing. Gordon M, Dennis X. You know, I like to have a personal relationship. Herman Colomor, Faye, you know, give thanks. I won't go to all the hundreds of them. Wayne Mohammed, Abdul Hakim Mohammed, I'm going to bless you up again because you popped up. Ayan Casabon, give thanks, my beloved brother Abdullah, Sister Ilona, Dennis Wilson, give thanks. Galaxy Note 8 is just a device, but Savannah, give thanks, and Patrick. So definitely in St. Lucia, what we have, okay, previously Brother Chronix was here for what we call the Rising of the Gods Retreat. And apart from Brother Chronix, we had Brother Reza Islam. You know, we also had another brother from the Nation of Islam, Brother Michael, and also they have a boxer. You know, he came in and he was injured. What's the brother Johnny? You know, he came in. He's of the nation also. He came in as part of Brother Reza Islam's security detail, and when he came, he could hardly walk, you know, because he had an injury of a ruptured tendon. And he was saying, "Well, priest, you know, I have a fight in August, you know." And I told him, you didn't come here to secure Brother Reza. You came here to get healed, so at least you could knock out whoever you're gonna be fighting, you know. And in the inception, you know, when he came in, I mean, I'm talking about 7 days, you know. You know, the brother could have hardly walked up the hill. You know how the hill is in the mountain, you know. And when we went to the sulfur spring, because a sulfur spring is basically a walking volcano, a place whereby you have hot water and sulfur mud coming in from the belly of the earth, like very, very therapeutic. We call it natural radiotherapy, radiation therapy. When someone has cancer and they have radiotherapy, what they are actually administering heat to the cancer. It's just like when you're going through an inflammatory response, what happens is your body temperature actually increase to destroy whatever microorganism is actually trying to get you sick. So the sulfur spring is a space whereby I love bringing my brothers who have, the metaplastic conditions of the prostate, enlarged prostate or prostate cancer, just to sit down. And I don't really put them. We have the privilege to have access of the sulfur spring privately, so I take them to the higher levels, not the baths that were created by man's hand, but by the natural baths with the mud at the bottom of it, and allow them to sit down in that hot water, to allow the heat of the sulfur to administer natural God-given radiotherapy. Same way if you have breast cancer or you have any types of cancer. But our brother, Johnny Mohammed, he had that torn tendon, and at the sulfur spring the first time, we had another brother. His name was Brother Akim. Also, he's a business partner of mine from Canada, and he was massaging his ankles and his foot, and the brotherly love was intense, And by the time he left, remember, he also climbed the pitons,
Yes.
That's a brother who couldn't climb the hill. I don't know if you've ever climbed the pitons in St. Lucia.
No, I've just looked at it.
My brother, he climbed the pitons, and the pitons was, everyone was flying out on Sunday. The pitons was the ultimate challenge on the Friday.
Wow.
He climbed the pitons. And in August, when he went to his fight, I know that everyone knows what the result is. He was victorious. So the retreats that we offer is an opportunity that you could come and you could bask in not just the hotels and the white sand and the same foods that you left in the UK, but an opportunity to actually interact with the earth and to extract all the healing modalities of the earth. Because from the first day you come, I gave you the free up laxative. That's the first step in the first night. So all the rubbish that you come with, coming out of wherever you're coming from, we flush it out. So everyone gets a male's package, or if it's a woman, you get a female package that actually entails colon cleansing, which is the first step, where for sure, if you take it at 8, by 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, definitely you will be on the loo, as they say in your space, and then you will be literally just blowing it out, and then for the process, your green juices, we have meditation, we have yoga, then we have people that's in our midst that we bring in to actually have high levels of motivational speaking, whether it is in economics, because economics is also a disease. Poverty is a disease. A lack of money is a disease, because this is just means that this not at ease. You're not at ease. So if you're not at ease economically, you are diseased economically, right? So many people who are diseased economically, and because they are spiritual, they have that hard time of actually just accepting wealth, just accepting, money and abundance. I'm talking about money, a lot of money, abundance. We won't say filthily rich, but we'll say righteously rich, to the extent that you have the capacity to actually impact upon the world and creation. So the retreats that we have is basically like that. It's treat, so you are retreating yourself. You are retreating yourself again. You are treating yourself again to that aspect whereby you are putting everything on the side and you are investing 7 days of your life into just yourself, doing what it is that you want to do for you, what you need, the rest, the massages, so you have massage, you have acupuncture, you have acupressure, you have baths for the sisters, yoni steams, whatever it is that you might be suffering from. And don't come because you are diseased, physically. Come because you want to invest that energy in yourself. And before you get to that point of being so sick that your body strikes on you or your heart attacks you, and they say you have a heart attack. A heart attack is when your heart attacks you, because your own physical structure begins to protest to the extent that you treat it so bad, you eat so bad, you always upset, you never happy, You should know gratitude, that your heart
Yeah.
literally turns on you and attacks you. And they call it a heart attack. So it is very important that we don't wait until sickness and disease actually come to us, but we allow ourselves to freely invest in ourselves to the extent that even if you have your TV license to pay, or you have your insurance to pay, you have to do your MOTs, or you have your mortgage to pay. Remember, mortgage is really a mortgage, you end up in the morgue as you age, and because you have reduced yourself so much, to what the system has dictated for you, that you are afraid you to cheap, you cheap, you shabby, you don't want to invest any amount of money in yourself, but yet still you'll pay your insurance for £1,000, and then you would buy a phone for £1,000, then you'd buy a flat screen TV for £500, and then you'll buy a shoe for whatever. Yet still, you are not going to invest money, you're not going to invest time and energy into you. That is the most precious element. You are the center of your universe, the center of your solar system. Your whole world revolves around you. Your mother, your father, your sister, your uncle, your husband, your children, your job, every single aspect of you is just one aspect of you except you. That's that center. So your job, so imagine that you have a circle and you have the center of that circle, and you are the one in the center of that circle, and every other relationship you have is on the perimeter of that circle, or the circumference of that circle, the edge of that circle revolving around you. Your mother could go and you will still be there. Your wife could go and you would still be there. Your children could go and you would still be there. Your work could go and you would still be there. But the moment that you are removed from that system, your whole world implodes and your world is no more. So the person that's supposed to be of the greatest amount of significance, the greatest value to anything in your solar system is yourself, right? So we now, as human beings, people that never say, well, Chris, we are only humans. I always tell them, we are only humans. I mean, when you are human, man, you are super. You are excellent. You are above every other thing. So it is basically, we just man, yes, but you are more than just man. You are man and you are God in flesh on the same. So I would just love people just to shift their perception of the value that they add to themselves, and understand that the greatest gift you could give to your wife is you. The greatest gift you could give to your children is you in your old age, 80, 90, or 100, whereby you could see your children and your children, and even, your children's children. That's the biggest blessing. But the only way that you could do that, if now, immediately, at this moment as we speak, you begin to invest in yourself. And it's not just money, You see that big house you bought, that big house you have? You see the couch you bought? Take a time and sit down on that couch and stretch your legs. Go in the veranda and go and look outside. The veranda you built, the patio you built, the expensive couch you actually bought. Sit down and stretch your legs. People buy stuff for fashion, and yet still they don't even invest time and energy to actually fully embrace their own reality. So the Mon Kailash Rejuvenation Center and the retreats that we offer is an opportunity that we are giving you to invest in self, right? And within that 7 days, trust me, everyone that comes and spends 7 days here, they never want to leave. Never. Even with Brother Riza Islam and Brother Johnny Mohammed and Michael Mohammed, all of them, to the extent that they missed the flight. They had to leave on the Monday or so. So it is very important that all of us, just understand that Britain. I love London. I love London. I mean, in the summer, and probably I could spend 14 days there. you know, because you have an abundance of all exotic fruits and everything that you want, you could find it there. But I cannot spend like 6 months there in the winter. I cannot do that. So if it is that you choose to love London, love the UK, make enough money that you could spend 6 months away and 6 months in to take care of your financial affairs.
Sailor, absolutely. And that is the plan, my brother. But I think we're going to ratchet it up to maybe 9 months. I think we're just at that time, you know, and I was blessed to speak to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on Tuesday, and we were discussing the Caribbean. And one of the things he mentioned to me about the Caribbean, because I shared with him the importance of our conference that we had on the 23rd and 24th of October. And the focus generally was repatriation to the Caribbean and to Africa. And he said to me that we are in the time, and as the scripture says, that every man and every woman by extension will return to their own vine and their own fig tree. And this is why I've been so insistent of those of us who have primarily, but by extension, everybody, but those of us whose parents are from the Caribbean. It's very important that you appreciate that you don't just jump over the Caribbean and say, you know, I'm going to focus on Africa. And then you leave the Caribbean just for Europeans and Americans to go down there on cruise ships and just stomp over your people, you know, by offering them the trinkets of Europe and the trinkets of America. And here we are in Europe, but we won't go back and look about our family and empower them and ensure that they have what they need. I think that we have to think a bit more carefully. So, Honorable Priest, in regards to that scriptural reference that every man will return to their vine and fig tree, I honestly believe we're living in that time now and all of the stars are aligning. What are your thoughts in regards to the sons and daughters of the Caribbean, or those even from African descent, in regards to the Caribbean that has given us as Black people so much? The Caribbean has enriched the life of Black people in the West and also in Africa, and even given culture back to Africa, right there from the Caribbean. What do you think our duty is at this time to the Caribbean, Honorable Priest?
Yes, my Lord, give thanks again, Honorable, for having me again. Well, I mean, in 2008, I could just answer you based upon my own particular experience. You know, I don't know whether I've said that already, you know, but in 2008, what I did is that I actually left St. Lucia and went into Ghana with my entire family, you know, with the intent of basically going back to the land, you know, and I spent 3 months there, and that was the only place I ever got broke, like literally broke, like I didn't have a cent, you know, and I got a lot of love from a brother up there. I know there's a brother in the UK called Papa J. You know, I had taken care of him in the UK. So what his brother actually did was he actually afforded me the opportunity to actually stay in an apartment in Ghana free of charge, you know, and I myself didn't have to pay a cent for that. So I actually received that love. But what the Spirit told me was that I had to return to St. Lucia, you know, to actually fulfill my work there, because I was reincarnated in that space. That's 2008. I'm telling you. So if it is that I had stayed there, because I actually purchased this property probably in 2011, 12, 13 or so. If it is that I had stayed in Africa, I would have never created Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center right here in St. Lucia. And as Rastafari, we are actually strong supporters of what you call repatriation with compensation, you know, and yet still in the Caribbean, our leaders, it's like a game of Monopoly. It's like, you know, you are You are playing Monopoly, and then you start the game with no money, with
Yes.
zero, with zip. So after emancipation, what happened is that after emancipation, our people, right, was not given any kind of money to actually allow them to build up anything in the Caribbean. Yet still, we were able to build up an empire, right, throughout the Caribbean region, and also the capacity to build up people with such intelligence that they are the ones who had to actually go back to Britain to help to take out the Caucasians out of the mess that they were in after the World War, and taught them to take off the toilets out of the kitchen, and taught them how to live and how to clean up themselves, and taught them in lots of ways of industry. So we have had a brain drain out of the Caribbean into the United Kingdom and into North America. So go to MIT and Yale and Oxford and all Harvard and all these other places there. You'd find somebody from St. Lucia. You'd find somebody from Jamaica. You'd find somebody from Barbados. You'd find somebody from Antigua that's there, that's bearing the brunt of the work, but yet still giving minimal credit, right? So it is up to us now as a people to realize now, not realize, real truth now, that at the point that we are, is that we have to reinvest in ourselves to the extent that we could determine our future. So when it comes to the aspect of going to Africa or staying in the Caribbean, okay, I'm different. I say the earth is my footstool. I know that the earth is mine. I have no limitations. If I want to go to the North Pole, I will go. If I want to go to the South Pole, I will go. If I want to go to Africa, I will go. If I want to stay in the Caribbean, I will stay. I have no exact limitations, to say, well, I'm going to place myself, in a position whereby I am limited to a particular space at all. That is what the white world have done. They have gone throughout the world and they have conquered, and that's what the black man did before. He didn't go and conquer. He went and he educated. He went throughout the world and he shared culture and knowledge and wise mind. So all the works that we have done in the Caribbean, and that is why they are deliberately killing off the people in the Caribbean, right? Because of the beauty of the Caribbean, they want to repossess it. They want to take it back. Now it is our responsibility as being the harbingers, being the people who are supposed to the caretakers, the keepers of these sacred spaces, to protect it from the hands of, as you'd say in the UK, Wazungu, and ensure that these people there don't actually come back and try to re-enslave us as they are trying to do with the whole realms of tourism and all these different aspects. So we as a people, we owe it to the Araks and the Caribs, the Taino Indians, right, to actually bring forward that balance in the Caribbean region where they carried us beyond, to bring it forward to that place of peace and wellness, like we have done in Mount Kailash, so to operate in that balance again, to bring forth the Caribbean as what it's supposed to be, that paradise, that space whereby pharaohs used to come to St. Lucia, travel and come and sit down at the foot of the pitons, which are natural pyramids, and come and sit down in the springs, in the hot sulfur springs, so it is I and I now as a people to embrace that. And if it is that you are reincarnated in Jamaica, you have an obligation to actually do a great works in Jamaica. I had to learn it the hard way. I had to go to Ghana and spend 3 months and have to pay all that to everyone. If I go to a TV station and paid to go on air, I still have to pay the host afterwards. If I go on radio and pay to go on air, I still have to pay the host afterwards. If I go and print a book, I have to pay to print the book and I have to pay somebody else afterwards. If I get stopped by a police, I have to pay some. By the end of that 3 months, brother, I had to send for help. You understand? So I then real truth, not realize, there are no real lies, the truth is the only real thing. I then overstood that I had a works to do in the Caribbean. I had a works to do in St. Lucia. So I wasn't proud. God spoke to me. I packed my bags. Me and my family, I was there with my empress and my 2 children, and she had 1 in the home. You know, right now we have 8, you know, and when it is that we actually left Ghana on a one-way ticket. You know, don't tell immigration, and they must be listening. But anyway, I left Ghana on a one-way ticket into the UK.
Yeah.
Right? That's not supposed to be possible.
Yes.
You know, I was supposed to be deported back to wherever when I come into Gatwick, you know,
Yes.
and I stayed in the UK, had a couple of lectures, made some money, went down to St. Lucia, 2008 that was, and then aggressively began my campaign and my ministry in St. Lucia up to a day like today. So I'm not here saying that I was born with a gold spoon in my mouth, or that somebody gave me the land where I am right now. I went through the process. You know, I tried it, you know, and I took my family with me because we went through the process together, right? And the Creator told me, priest, you have a work to do in St. Lucia. Go ahead and do it. You know, so that is what I'm doing now, that work, you know, whereby you could have come, you know, and come and sit with me in the kitchen, and we lit a fire, and we supped together, you know, and we reasoned, you know, to the extent that you could have come and share a space in what I had to create, you know, and that would have never happened if I had run away from my destiny. You understand? So we are destined for greatness. You know, we have a work to do. The place that we were reincarnated to, we have a moral, an economic, a social, a fundamental responsibility to uplift that space. So even if I am the Right Honorable Priest Kailash, an ancient pharaoh, as they would say it, an ancient king in the ancient space that comes forward again, I had to be reincarnated in the land of the Twin Pyramids. And I had to build a pyramid myself, you know, because that is who I am, right? And manifest that. So everyone on this platform, you know, you have a responsibility. You know, you were here before, and all of us were here before, even in that same space, speaking the same way that we are speaking, at a point in time when we had to stand up for our people, stand up for our ancestors, stand up for all the people who are here with us right now, and also stand up for our future. Stand up for our future and guarantee that our children can pass and pick a coconut from a tree that we planted.
Yes.
Can eat an orange from a tree that we planted. Can eat an avocado from a tree that we planted. So, beloved, I don't know if I told you too much or if I answered your question exactly, but I just answered your question based upon my personal life living experience, Honorable.
We love it. We love it, Honorable Priest. I remember the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan sharing with us that the teacher of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had traveled throughout the whole world into every inhabited part of the earth. And he left a treasure for us to discover in every part of the world. And I can honestly say from my experience in going to St. Lucia, you indeed are the treasure that he has left there for us to discover. Because I have been going in and out for a long time, dear brother, and I didn't know what it was, why out of all the islands, even though my parents are from Jamaica, what was calling me to St. Lucia. And it was only when I was last there, when I first heard you on the Instagram live, and when I was last there, and the connection was so natural, and it was as if we have known each other for life. And that's when you know God Almighty is that, that's when you know God is at the root of something, is because you've already met the person in another realm. And we've just reconnected in this realm. And that's why when God promises us friendship in all walks of life, that friendship is not necessarily with people who we already know. Because when we meet proper friends, there is a connection on the highest level. So I give thanks, dear brother, for the connect that the Most High has orchestrated, because I didn't have the wisdom to orchestrate it. It was just a natural process. And we look forward to coming with at least 10 individuals who would, be, and I know more than 10 would like to come, Honorable Priest, for us to have a retreat. And I know by the time we finish this call, if I put something in the chat, who would like to be one of the first to come on the first restoration trip that the rest of you can follow with, but we're gonna go as trailblazers. So those of you who are a part of my team who would like to accompany me,
Come on now.
to Mount Kailash for this 7-day retreat where we can come back and share with those in the UK the benefits of travel. We want to make sure it's not just a male-dominated group. So, sisters, please, put yourself forward, because this is something that, by the Honorable Priest, if he accepts us, we look forward to coming and getting a healing, dear Honorable Priest.
Family is family, man. There is no, and we're not friends, as you said, we're brethren,
Yes.
And
yes.
There is a heart feeling, man, a sentiment.
Yeah.
That they say only God knows the love of God,
Yes.
So there is a heart sentiment that reverberates. So I'm not English, Sometimes I try to use the words, but I just left my throne and had to come down to this space to help my people,
Yes.
But that feeling that actually vibrates throughout our whole existence when you actually meet, souls of love, and people who are genuine, people you could probably tell something that you wouldn't say to anyone else, and our experience thus far has been one of that nature, and this has given me hope for a brighter tomorrow, and I must have said that in our previous call because that's what I feel, and I do feel hope that we could work to create a better tomorrow, that we don't have to be victims and believe that the white man is doing us anything.
Yes.
The white man is not doing anything to us.
Right.
We doing it to ourselves.
Right.
Marcus Mosiah Garvey said that if two of us agree on something, it is done.
Yes.
So my beloved brother, I would, call upon the eye that we could agree, and make it happen, and make it manifest, into whatever it is that we actually decide. And we don't waste time. We don't play. We are 50 years behind. We have no time to actually go on vacation.
Yes.
I don't. That's why one of the times we will reason and you say, well, we have to travel. I tell you, when I travel, I work, because we don't have time for vacation, man. I don't want my children to grow up in a world whereby they feel disenfranchised when they reach immigration in the country. They have to be pulled on the side because of how they look or whatever. No, just because we are melanated beings, we are people of our heritage. We're supposed to be treated with dignity. We're supposed to be treated with as royals.
Yes.
And this is a work that we have to do. It's not something that someone is going to come and do for us. Right. It's not because I am Priest Kailash that Priest Kailash, okay, come along. And then you see another brother that looks like you and say, hey, hold on there, I'm busting your back. And you dig him up. So it is not when, and we as individuals, as single persons, because of our status, we get preferential treatment, but as a people, as a people,
Yeah.
we are treated with a high level of respect. And as a people, we are honored in whatever space that we actually enter into. So this is the heights and the depth and the width and the length, you know, of the works that we actually have to do. You understand, beloved? So I am fully aware of what needs to be done. So it is up to us now, and we can do it because, as Marcus Garvey said again, left unmolested for 50 years,
Yes.
we can build a nation greater than we have ever built before. And I believe that, sincerely.
I second.
You know, I believe that. You know, I do believe that. I do sincerely believe that, beloved. So let us do it, man. Let us agree. Let us choose consciously to agree upon our destiny, our future, what we want to accomplish. And let us just work towards it odiously. You know, I tell people sometimes I've embraced death. You know, and say, oh, but please, wait, talking about you've embraced death. I say, of course I've embraced death. I don't So I'm going to be afraid to speak because of fear of what someone could actually do to my flesh. Or I've fully embraced my mortality. Fully. I have no fear. I fully embraced my mortality, like fully, so fully that to the extent, and I'm telling you that if life is, I'm not those that would be captured and as a slave, and I'll be the runaway one in the mountain, in the bush, someplace, man. I tell people I'll never be able to live in America and watch a policeman beat my sister and kick her on the ground. I see some videos and I see some black brothers recording police kicking down sisters, and I could never live in a space like that. That's why I was reincarnated in St. Lucia. I could never live in a space whereby a Caucasian police could discriminate against my sister and kick her on the ground, or drag her and hold and drag her and put. Oh, I see my brother being choked to death by a police and I'll be recording.
Relax.
I don't think that as a people we have embraced our mortality. I don't think that we have embraced any aspect of ourselves to the extent that we are willing to live for the freedom of our people. You know, so people do all manners of stuff, but when it comes to standing up, you know, we are weak. You know, as the minister would say, you punk out. You know? So at the end of the day, you know, we need to stop being punks, man, and as man, you know, have the balls, the testicles, the gonads to actually stand up and build a reality for us, for ourselves in the present and for our children. You know, I always say to myself, my empress could never go and work 8 hours for somebody. Who can pay my empress for 8 hours of a day so that she could leave her children and her family and go and sit down in some miniskirt behind somebody's desk to actually work for them for 8 hours or 9 hours or 10 hours or whatever it is? No. So it is for us now, as man of right, you know, as God man, to elevate our mentality, our standard, to the extent that we're going to say, well, no, that cannot happen, and I'm gonna work to ensure that we establish that foundation, that platform, whereby our people can be respected and feared among the heathen, as has been actually prophesied. You know, so it is not God won't come down from heaven and do it. You know, I mean, we can't wait for Marcus Garvey to resurrect again and do it. You know, we cannot wait for Malcolm X to get out of his grave and come and do it. You understand? We have to do it. And the thing is that we are at an advantage. We have seen what have been done.
Exactly.
We have a roadmap to actually follow. So come on, my beloved brothers and sisters. And now specifically, you know, beloved, it is, you know, the woman's time, you know. So it is time for the man and them to be bolder and stand up, looking in the shadows, watching God as the woman, you know, moves forward in a high level of self-confidence, micromanaging gigantic economies, you know, and taking care. Because remember, it's the woman that manages everything, you know. So we, the man, must be there as the lions that we are, standing in the shadows, ready to pounce,
Right.
you know, on any kind of iniquity worker who try to actually disrespect or do anything to our beloved sisters, as now is their time. You know, so as we say, rise up, black woman, and tie your waist with a black cloth and bring down the walls of Babylon, you know. So the cry, the wailing of a woman is nothing that any system could actually bear. When the black woman really recognizes a true power and a true potential, and the black man provides the space and gives the black woman that sense of security and sense of self-confidence, the Babylon is done. You know, the white world has actually fallen. So just let's just do it, man, beloved. And as I say, we are family, we're not friends. I don't have no friends. I don't want no friends. You know, I want brothers, you know. I want brethren and I want family. Family is what it is. That we could have what you call longevity, that we could actually build that future that we actually need to build for ourselves.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I don't want to be the only one to engage the honorable priest. So, Brother Wayne, if you would like to take your phone off mute, Brother Jeff, Sister Sylvina, if you want to share some words with our honorable priest before our time concludes, please, I'll give you the throne at this time, because this has been a great blessing for the last 2 weeks. You know, we've been honored by the honorable priest, and our platform has been blessed highly, that from this point forward, all we can do is soar into the stratosphere, because as we're embarking upon 2022, a year like none other for us, it must be a year of uninterrupted progress and growth and development, because all the talking has been done. And as the high priest has stated, you know, and I was blessed to speak to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, and as I was speaking to him about the unity that I feel with my brother, he said to me, brother, that's the key word, unity, the unity, because we've tried everything else, but the one thing we haven't tried is unity. And that is what the enemy has always feared, is us unconditionally working together to bring forth a brighter tomorrow for ourselves and our loved ones. And it's no accident that we as a community have brought forth so many warrior sons. All of our sons are just, in their nature, they're just born warriors. Yes. And born to rebel against the system in which they have been birthed into. That's why they're getting into so much trouble with the police, because they're actually born to fight them. They're actually born to back them up. And if we're trying to train them to be other than what they are, then we have to take responsibility. If we push them back into a system that they were born to leave out of, then that's a system today is only turning our sons into little girls. And that's why homosexuality is just on the rise in Europe and throughout the West, because the time has ended for us to hand our children over to our oppressor. So I just want to ensure that this evening does not pass without us hearing your blessed voice. Honorable, please share some words with us this evening.
Give thanks, honorable gods and goddesses in creation, Right Honorable Priest Kailash, Honorable Abdul Hakim Mohammed, and the entire throng of good people, good energies that have fed into this feast from the Right Honorable Priest Kailash. Absolutely. I would not say much more could not be added. It would be overstuffing, if you will. This feast has been tremendous from the Right Honorable Priest Kailash, and what we expect, having shared this meal, having eaten this meal, is a digestion of it and a strengthening of our spiritual, our physical, and more so our collective unity, the energies that are needed for the next and the new, because the old is outworn and unreliable. Let us now reform and replace, replenish, and as the Right Honorable Priest says, retreat ourselves toward that unity that is so much needed for our future. I give thanks for the platform, but more so for the collective energies of goodness that has brought you, Brother Akeem, within the spaces that we met, that has provided this instrument of goodness, the Right Honorable Priest Kailash, that has impacted even myself, a historian living, working in the United States, to make the decision to invest in the future, not to sit in the cold as you are now, Brother Akeem, but to relinquish that and whatever economic component that represents, and to sit in a place of peace, a place of clarity, where I can organize with my brother, a God in the flesh, along with myself and others, in framing the next. We look forward to those collaborations and those collaborators who seek to do that good work, because you too must be at the table feasting and not on the table as the feast of others. One perfect love. I give thanks for the opportunity and bless you all, my family. Rastafari.
No, thank you so much, Dr. Rose. And Brother David, our Eastern Regional Representative, are you on the line to just share a few words as we close out? Brother David Muhammad. This is our Eastern Regional Representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan Station in Trinidad, Brother David Muhammad. The throne is yours. Brother Odate, give Brother the
opportunity. But just got a meeting. Thank you so much. The Eastern Caribbean representative of the Nation of Islam. It's an honor to be on.
What did I say, David? What did I say?
You said Eastern Regional Representative.
Eastern Caribbean Regional.
That's all right. Our Eastern Regional Representative is a very honorable brother as well. Listening to our brother from over the last 2 weeks, listening to St. Lucia, it recalls to mind the magnificent contribution that the kind of grassroots scholarship coming out of St. Lucia has for us, for the rest of us across the Caribbean. Very uniquely placed between two French-speaking islands, Guadeloupe and Martinique. And I was to ask our guest if he speaks French, but I understand he speaks French, Spanish, and English. But the whole French-speaking culture, along with the Haitian influence coming out of St. Lucia, and that focus on healing as part of education is a mandatory component of learning that many of us may have missed. So I thoroughly enjoyed the last 2 weeks in particular. Today, I also look forward to sometime being over there in St. Lucia and maybe experiencing some of what there is to offer. I was there in 2016 for a series of lectures, but I'm really, really inspired, really impressed. I used to be connected with a Rastafarian brother named Priest Pear over there. As a matter of fact, imagine he was the first person that I knew who used to broadcast our programs in Trinidad over the internet from St. Lucia. And that was like early 2000s, almost 20 years ago, before the technology was as widespread as it is. But that essence of healing that we got from St. Lucia, that concept of healing that we got from St. Lucia over the last couple of weeks, that I don't think any of the other Caribbean territories truly represented in the same way, for me, causes St. Lucia to be outstanding in that regard. And I know that there's so much that we could learn coming out to St. Lucia. And Brother Minister Abdul Hakim, congratulations on this series, because one thing that the Repatriation Club and the spiritual injection sessions would have taught us, and would have taught us very, very well, is the heterogeneity of the Caribbean. All of us would have heard those cliched, ridiculous stories being asked by white people in the United Kingdom, which part of Jamaica, is it North, South, West, or East Jamaica that Trinidad is? Or which part of Jamaica is Grenada? Or which part of Jamaica is St. Lucia or Barbados? And there would be this image, as many people would also have of Africa, that it is completely homogeneous, that every single city, town, village, and country is identical and basically offers the same cultural products, cultural expressions. And we all know that that is not the case. So this series would have embellished that, that every single territory in the Caribbean is unique in their own way. They have, first of all, different resources, different histories, different types of political experiences, different festivals, even unique ideologies coming out of all of the different Caribbean nations. And I'm grateful for that, because this is something that we painstakingly have to explain many times, of the uniqueness of the diversity within our Blackness within Caribbean nations. So thanks again, Brother Abdul Hakim. And of course, we continue to look forward to more and more programs.
Yes, sir.
And we look forward, Brother David, to being with you in Trinidad next week, Thursday.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
Right Honorable Priest Kailash, please, if there's any closing remarks, please bless us with some closing remarks.
Give thanks, beloved, again for having me, and give thanks for all those people that were on the platform today. And I give thanks also because my Empress is on also, and Reverend Empress Ethiopia. Give thanks for your divine presence also in my life. I would just like to before I move forward is to lead by example. By telling the I, Brother Abdul Hakim Muhammad, that I love the I, Some people does find it difficult to actually express love because they believe that telling someone that you love them comes from lens and lens of years, but love is an action word, and it's a vibrational frequency of the heart. And I don't want to express that to the eye, that I love the eye and everything that the eye is actually doing. And I would pray that the eye take a time out for yourself and always do the things that you love and that bring you happiness also, as you strive for the betterment and the upliftment of the people around you. And I pray that the ancestors could actually keep on guiding the eye. And I myself, as a living man in the time that we are right now, offer my services to the eye in whatever way that possible, that I could assist in your overall wellness as a man. I am at your service, and keep on doing the work that you are doing. Try steadfastly, up your level of security, be very thoughtful in all manners of things that you get involved in. And just remember that you do have family right here in St. Lucia. And we await your return, and we just send our blessings, prosperity, longevity, and we want to physically not just speak it, but manifest it in giving you a space up in the mountain. Whenever you feel like you coming into St. Lucia and you want to spend a couple of days to retreat yourself, that comes free of charge from us down here in St. Lucia, as we honor you as the God man that you are. And as I will reiterate that I'm leading by example based upon what I say, that we have to honor the people among us that work and put their lives on the line, for us all the time. Those people who have embraced their mortality to the extent that their life mean nothing if it is just selfishly lived for themselves. So all love and prosperity, beloved. Stay strong, stay focused, longevity and prosperity, and may Allah bless you and keep you, Honorable. Heart of love, my Lord. Blessed.
Thank you, Honorable High Priest, and my love for you is concrete.